higher your score, the better you are in that area. The lower your score, it's less likely that you're dominating in that area. We recognize that we can improve on our competency. We recognize we don't have the answers. If we did, we would have scored higher. We recognize if there's not a quantifiable goal, transformation is stagnant. All right, truly. Yeah, we're gonna get this going. Thank y'all for joining me. This is a live training or a masterclass on one of my 5 layers of confidence that I've used to help me become more confident in life, but also make more money and have a better quality of life. So first off, if you don't know who I am, what you need to do right now, go to myconfidencescore.com. 25 question, 2-minute, and 3-second survey to help you measure your confidence, identifying how confident you are not, to help you leverage your pain points to enhance what you're good at. So myconfidencescore.com. Today's live training is going to be about competency. Now, to make this make sense, what we want to just lead with is more confidence equals more money. I've lived a life where I began to understand more confidence equals more money. So these 5 layers of self-confidence is to help us leverage this part to get more of this. Cool. Now, today's layer, as I mentioned earlier, going to be competency. Cool. Thank y'all for tuning in and joining your boy for another live training. Make sure to have your questions ready at the end, and I'll answer your questions. So competency. Now, this live training really works well if you're taking the survey and you got your results and like, man, I have some questions, I don't really understand what I'm looking at. It's all just a bunch of numbers. Oh, I see high scores. Hey, I got you. The way this works is the higher your score, the better you are in that area. The lower your score, it's less likely that you're dominating in that area. So if you're taking the confidence score survey and you recognize that in the area of competency, right, you're at 50% or lower. If you're at a 60% or higher, you're good. You got life figured out. It's just some minor tweaks and you're good. But if it's 50% or lower, right, between 50% and 10%, then this is for you. All right, what am I saying? Here's what I'm communicating. I'm communicating that if this is on a 10 out of 100 scale, or one could even say 1 to 10, 5 to 10, you're doing something right. If you got 10%, at 50%, you're doing half of the things right. Meaning, if you work twice as hard, you could bridge the gap in your competency. Now, if you're pushing out 10% or 1 out of 10, then this is for you. Here's what I'm going with. It's really simple and straightforward. All right. I'm presenting to you a concept, an idea. All right. 10 things I'm good. 10 things I'm bad at. There you go. Make a list. 10 things I'm good at, 10 things I'm bad at. 50% says there are 5 things I'm good at and there are 5 things that I'm bad at. 50% says you focus more on the bad things. Focus more on the things that you're bad at versus focusing on the things that you're good at. Competency is one of the milestones of self-confidence. Oh, cool. Well, confidence is the belief in your ability to do a thing. The doing of the thing is the competency, right? I liken it to doing push-ups. If the exercise is confidence, then competency are the push-ups, Meaning, the more reps you get in, the better your competency. So I liken it to job confidence, right? If we're very good at our jobs, then we're very competent at our jobs. So with recognizing this, our next pivot is leverage. So plainly said, 50% score or lower for competency, right? It's suggesting the idea that out of the 10 things that you're good at, you're only doing 5 of them. And then out of the 10 things you're bad at, or 10 things you shouldn't be doing, you're doing 5 of those. So you kind of half out on both sides, right? Now, of course, to get better at this, just do more of the things that you're good at, and there you go. But what I'm also communicating is this. If it's about quantifying the missing money, a better way to break this down would be something like this. The average American is $500 away from, no, the average American is in need of $500. The average American doesn't have $1,000 saved up. So that means 75% of us get paid and we really need an extra 500 on our check to make things happen. So if that's you, you can relate. Let's say you do 50% on this competency piece. The other percentages is the $500 you want extra on your paycheck. So with that being said, of the 5 things out of 10 that you're doing, what are the other 5 things you could be doing? This is where the money lies. So we recognize that we can improve on our competency. We recognize we don't have the answers. If we did, we would have scored higher. We recognize if there's not a quantifiable goal, transformation is stagnant. The understood goal is, how can I get this $500 extra on my check, extra around the time I get paid for my job, knowing that I really need it and I'm behind, or I want to get caught up. Cool. By recognizing there are 10 things that you do very well. 5 of them you're consistently doing. Kudos to you. But the other 5 could increase revenue or net profit by $500. I'm curious to know. I'm happy for you to find out, and I'm curious to know what those 5 things are for you in your industry. For example, let's take it back to when I was at Tesla, all right? And I was making at that time $19 an hour, and my check was $1,200 every 2 weeks. This was in 2019. So in a month, I'm bringing in $2,400. Now, if this applies to me way back then, and I wanted to make an extra $500, I know what I was doing. So with what I understood about my shifts and how I work, I know I got OT, overtime. Overtime might take up the first $200 a bit. I also know that I was selling shirts, custom, and that'll take out another 100, right? I also know that if I got a friend of mine that sell food, I could arbitrage and probably get in on that. That was probably like $50. I'm gonna say affiliate slash dot connector. And then for the other 150, I had my tobacco brand. So even though my job's only giving me $2,400 for the month, I can say to myself, what am I gonna do? Woe is me. My job ain't. But if I leverage the other 5 things that I'm good at, out of the 10 that I could be doing, there's some money hidden in these lists and things. And it's our job to find it. The first step is awareness, right? The second step is to assort the information in the list, right? Third thing is action. So boom, this is what I would do when I was making $19 an hour. Now, of course, to be honest, with OT, I made way more than $200. With these shirts, with these custom shirts, I made way more than $100. Helping my friends sell their products, I made way more than $50. In my tobacco brand, I made way more than $150. This is just a generalization to help drive home the idea of leveraging the job to make more money. Now, if you're someone that is in a different industry, right, and you're like, hey man, that's not my life, I can't relate, then let's do this. One of my clients worked in social services, okay, speaking on finding this missing money, because we understand more confidence equals, one of the components of confidence is competency. Leveraging what you're good at to make more money. So say someone in the, I don't know what to call it, social services space, and you and your friends love to go out to eat. Well, how about you foot the bill with your credit card? Every time you hang out with your girlfriends now at the job, and over time you get back, depending on how hard y'all hang out, you can probably see $100 in reward points out of the 500, maybe more, right? Then it's the holiday season, everybody love to eat. So we're gonna say holiday, treats, eats. Way more than $100. All right. Third layer. Now, depending on what kind of person you is, you may or may not be for renting out your finest garments to your friends and them, but people do it. So that's an option, but we're gonna say luxury rentals. Way more than $100. Then my absolute favorite go-to is gonna be work planners and journals. All right. And then last name, meal prep. Meal prep, aka and or custom coffee. So if I was in a social services type vibe, or if I'm a woman in a woman led, if I knew I needed an extra 500 from my job, or my job wasn't gonna give it to me, I'll get creative. And then the last bonus is Old Faithful overtime with intention. So maybe it's not all out burnout, but maybe it's a bill you want to get caught up on 2, 3, 4, 5 months ahead in advance. Maybe it is a trip you want to take, and instead of, you feel me, tucking away cash over time, you want to just pop and do OT, hustle that up real quick, and then dedicate your calendar to other endeavors. Whatever that may be, this is where the money is at. And to drive the point home, leveraging competency really requires this. And we're going to say, you can't grow if you don't measure. So if the name of the game is more confidence equals more money, we're low on our competency score or high on our competency score, right? How well we do a thing, and we want to get better. One of the driving motivators to more money is leveraging what we're good at and then aligning that with these financial outcomes.
Truly.